Alright, so I'm gonna, and I don't know where the hell I'm gonna put it so I don't scratch it, but might not even use it again. But I'm gonna take this front guard off. The reason being is because of this, and as you would have seen in my very disappointing, sad video about fabrication, the dump pipe from the engine, wasn't really happy with it, but now with some further discussions anyway with Anthem Horsepower Junkie and Brett from Oil Trade, who's going to be tuning the car, I'm going to go for a 5-inch exhaust. And rather than going underneath the car here, which it did before, from a space point of view and length of pipe and everything like that, the easiest method for this is to, and this is a drag car, I'm not pretending like this is a street car, is to just go straight through the guard. So it means more cutting. So I'm going to have to move that brake line, dick around with a few things, but 5 inches is big, but I mean it's only an inch bigger. This is an offcut that I've got, it's a dented piece, so just for an example, but pretty much straight through the guard. And then it's probably going to be easier for me to go further up in the guard out here, just because it's clearance of tyres and there's a lot less clearance down there, because once that inner guard's modified and everything, I'll have loads of room there. And then yeah, basically punch it out the side there and probably just replace the guard. I know where there's another guard, or I think you can get these brand new anyway. I've got to do some paint repairs to the engine bay and bits and pieces, so just means painting another guard. And the other thing is that I never had the alignment right here anyway with the door, so once the guard comes off, it means I can mess around with that. And there was one big gripe I had when it went in street machine, that I could see that this line was never right, but yeah, it's a race car, so yeah, I'm going to rip this off and put it aside and then start cutting holes, I guess, so see what happens. Alright, I've chopped a great big whopping hole in the car in 2 places. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, but that'll get cleaned up. Also into the footwell there, because originally the problem I had was with the exhaust coming through here, was that it was sort of coming past here, and I belted that in a bit to create some room, but there's plenty of room there because the accelerator pedal is here, and I've worked out that I can afford to lose a bit in here, so that means that this pipe now can come through on this angle. I don't mind that dent in it because it's just an offcut. Come through here, come past here, and then whether or not we put like a bend on the end of it, it should hopefully, with a bit of mucking around, I've got a lot of room down there and then plenty of clearance with the tyre, and plus this is a bigger tyre than the actual drag tyre, plenty of room there to hopefully get away with using the existing front quarter panel. So doing a bit of measurement, it should be right, otherwise it'll have to go up further like that and then come out sort of more here. Currently it's down here. If we look at the quarter panel, it's between those 2 body lines, so it may have to end up coming out sort of here. The goal would be to try and bring it out in the existing place, and then through Jace at Tuff Mounts, I've just ordered one of his, got a selection of stainless trim rings to go around exhausts. So this here accommodates for a 4-inch at the moment, so too small. So basically, all going to plan, I'll take this one out, and then I'm going to have to carefully open that hole so it'll accommodate Jason's one, which will move back, and then I'll just have to nip the edge off it like this one. Or failing that, because it's not a Rolls Royce or anything expensive, a new front guard isn't that much, and because I've got to do paint repairs to the engine bay and the interior, just means repainting the front guard, and that one's got a chip on it anyway from when the bonnet went on once, so that's the goal. At the moment I've been doing a bit of cardboard aided design, so to make a panel to go up here. I've still got to tidy up this bottom edge, but I'm trying not to cut past where the original sort of spot welds were on the panel. Like, these are quite thin compared to like the firewall that was put in originally. This is super thick, and I wanted that for strength, but yeah, basically probably going to fold that up, and then I just want everything to overlap slightly in this so that it's easier to weld and it's not a butt weld. And then probably actually going to have a go at fully TIG welding this one as well, just because it's a bit neater and a bit quieter and so forth. So yeah, I'm going to get out there and start ripping into this one, which is, there's my cardboard template. Bit of a mess out here at the moment, bits of cut up tailgate and everything like that. And then this sheet steel I've got here, so I'm going to rip that off there, leave a bit of excess probably around the edges, cut it a little bit wider, and that way I can sort of sit it in there and trim it to match, or even like fold the edges over. So yeah, should be a good. And obviously I've got some folds in this too, so I'm going to use my bench vise as a folder and put some folds in it to match this. So let's rip into it because we're running out of day. Ooh, upside down. Alright, so that's roughly in place there, probably a little bit of scooching around, but it's got heaps of overhang over it and I need to massage it into place a bit, but happy with that. I can also push that down to match no concourse revival car or anything like that. So what I'm going to do now is go inside and have a look and move all this junk out of the way here. It's a bit dark in here, but now I can kind of see where the edge of that is, and with the stupid roll cage trying to hold a camera, doing 10 things at once. I think a good camera mount that some guy makes. That kind of takes care of the top half, but I'm keen to get this bottom half working properly, so I might trim that and then go at it again, have a couple of goes at it rather than rush it. Damn, there's some good tack welds. I'm going to bust that one there to get this off, because that was the tiniest tack and that is not going anywhere. Must be good at tack welding. Whatever you do, always use these. And they are super annoying for me because I have to wear them over my glasses, but they're still smart. Okay, so I've busted that out now. I've got this here, did my lines around there, so it's pretty, I have to trim off that much minus a fraction and then do it all again. Those tack welds were super strong and you can see how not much of a tack there was there, so good tacks, Boxer. Alright, I'm going to trim this, don't need to film that. Watch me angle grinding 1,000 times before, so be back in a minute. Cool. Alright, pretty happy with that. Just got to clean up that bottom edge there, get some paint off it so I can weld to it, and then we're on. In there, got a little edge I've just got to clean up here, but other than that, the fit's pretty good across there and there and there. Across the bottom here, that needs to be bowed out from the inside, and a little bit more fitting, cleaning around the bottom. But I'm going to do the top part first, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the door off, because two things: this car's got to get wired up and a heap of other stuff happening. I probably should have done it before bloody poor old Robbie was in there doing the cage, because it would have been a pain in the butt, but sorry Robbie, but I didn't have the guard off then, so it's hard to get to the door with the guard on. I'm going to take the door off for two reasons: because it needs to be realigned anyway, because it was never aligned properly and always catches a bit. But the other thing is also damaging it. I'm going to put it inside the house where half my other car parts are hidden at the moment. And then the other thing is that it means that while I'm welding this, especially TIG welding because it's a bit slower, it means I can pretty much stick my head around the corner and check in there, because I want to just keep checking, making sure, because there's paint and all sorts of stuff on the inside, and seam sealer and bits and pieces. So because of welding, heat, all that sort of thing, I don't want anything to catch on fire, so it means I can just keep an eye on it and be very careful, because otherwise if I'm just doing it, then I've got to keep ducking back around, drop the welder, get inside the car, open the door. So partly from a safety point of view, but it means the door can go back on a later date anyway. Even after the thing's running, it can go on the dyno. The whole thing doesn't have a door on it until the thing's actually going down the drag strip. And the only other thing related to that is, see what I mean about the door catching, is the fact that I still haven't worked out exactly where I'm putting it, but I do know for a fact that I was thinking of putting this CO2 bottle pretty much here, somewhere along there, and which you'd think, oh, that's crazy because it's on the outside of the cage, but it means I can get to there, I can get to everything. But once it's there, it actually shuts inside the cavity of the door. So a little bit of messing around to work out exactly where it goes with the door opening and shutting, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I haven't confirmed that, but been messing around with that idea. So all I'm going to do first before I start welding is grab the pedal, put that in place, make sure the pedal still works and doesn't hit on anything. It's pretty good, I'm pretty confident with that, and then I'll start welding that top half and then have to massage bits to make the rest fit. So door off first, and probably should get all these bits and pieces out of it. It's a good place for holding things actually, inside this door. Cup holders, yeah. Street car, yeah. That's all welded in there. A little bit of a tidy up here, but I haven't really ground anything. I've just sort of like gone over it with a wire brush and a Scotch-Brite wheel just to tidy it up. Still got to do something along here and tidy that up, but it's all up under the guard anyway, so it'll probably have underbody shorts on it anyway. But I'm just tidying up this section here because I still want that hole to be bigger than it needs to be. I've just got to tidy up the bottom edges and so forth. But in this top bit here, I'll turn the light off because it's right up there. I'll take that out. That is a gaping big hole there and marks there, so I've just gone and trimmed this up here, which is like a filler piece in there, so it's got that nice round hole there. That then ties that back into the firewall, even though it doesn't need it because it's really got that there, but that just neatens that up in there. And I'm thinking about putting like a big dimple die in the middle of that, like a massive one or something like that, just for, I don't know, for pretty looks. But see how we go. I still want to tidy all that up before I get in and weld this because it just restricts room, but yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's absolute crap loads of room in there to run this big enormous pipe through here, so whether or not it ends up with, whoop, I've dislodged that now so it's not in the right spot, but yeah, a couple of pie cuts in there just to sort of bring it around that corner there, so that ends up sort of that angle and little angle there, and that can even go that low now as well with loads of room. So pretty happy with that. Just got to get in there, clean it all up and basically re-prep it again for paint. So, but that'll all get done down the track. So what I'll do is I'll just seal it up with etch primer and so forth. Pretty happy with that, considering I just went, you know what, here's a stupid idea, I'll rip into it and do it, and drew a few lines, got a texture out and ruler and went, you know, created like heaps more room considering that's there and it doesn't affect the footwall at all. So probably stuff that you'd want to do before actually painting your car down the track, but since you're doing so much in the engine bay, it's all going to need paint updates and everything anyway, so all the front suspension, cross member will all get taken out. It pretty much will just be a shell again. Probably even take the diff out because I want to give that like a clean up and a pretty up, so pretty happy with that. And if anything, maybe even put a bit of heat shield on the inside of it, but I've intentionally gone with thick stuff here rather than thin stuff. But yeah, I don't want to go down the V8 supercars hot feet path, but considering it's a drag car and it only goes down the track once and the pipe's this short and the gases go straight out of it, I don't think there'll be much back pressure, especially now that it's going to be a VR's 5-inch pipe. So pretty cool, or pretty hot. Yeah, anyway, okay, back to work. Alrighty, skip ahead a bit and I've gone and done this. So a couple of dimple dies, and that now sits in there. So I just got to whiz those panels down, that curves onto there nicely. So a few little tacks in there, probably with a MIG just to hold it in place. And then I'll put a bolt up through here to pull that into place. But get that in, weld it in, and then happy days. I say that a lot, don't I? Must have enjoyed that show as a kid. Anyway, cool like Fonzie. Oh, and actually what I'm going to be doing right now too is I have several cool things here. I have this U-Pole weld through copper paint, and I also have from the Legends at Weld Class this, which is a gas lens kit, and it comes with short and long back caps, 3 different size gas lenses, 3 different size hoods. That one's all dirty because I put my dirty fingers all over it. All the little collets in here, and 4 different rare earth tungstens, which is awesome. So the rare earth tungstens are the ones that I've been told are the good ones to use. Still learning a fair bit, but I am using one in there at the moment, which I got given by my mate Johnny Tig. Yeah, now I've got my own supply of them, which should last me a little while because I'm trying not to stick the tungsten to the job now. It's getting better and better, but yeah, now I can mess around, and these gas lenses are apparently much better for distributing the gas and creating a nice sort of cloud of gas around the job. And the other thing is I learnt another trick the other day to crank up the gas flow, pre-flow, just sort of create a cloud around the job so it gets rid of any contamination, stuff like that, which is straight away I noticed the difference, which is cool. So more practice. I'm gonna go paint this sucker copper, and the reason for doing this too is that because there's some surfaces underneath which will never get welded and they're panel to panel and joined, so if it's just a bare metal surface underneath, it'll just end up rusting. So I want to get this and wipe it over with some IPA just to get rid of these texture marks and stuff like that, and then just, you know, hook it up and throw some of this on it. I'll whiz down the inside of the panel in the car there, and then hopefully have this all sort of tacked in this afternoon and try and finish off some of the tidy up in the engine bay there, and maybe in the next hour or so I'll have that all done. Boom. So I got some copper spray on all of that, and that's sitting in there. I've got another piece of metal just jammed in there just to raise that up. So once it's tacked in, that can come out. But gonna try and TIG this. Should be good because that's nice and thick. So, and that's nice and thick. And I've cleaned it up as best as I can. Pretty happy with that. And so that sort of ends up being like a nice round section there. I could still change bits, maybe put a little wedge in there or something like that. But so there we go. Just get this bit in and then go from there, because otherwise I'm going to have to take that out and move things, but it's all going to have to be moved anyway. But I'm just rambling. I should weld. Well, this is a quick self-learnt lesson. Copper spray and TIG welding does not mix, because it just went all over the shop. So I've cleaned off the edges now. I'm going to have another go at it, and I've had to fix the tungsten because it got all messy. So anyway, try again. Alright, quick shout out to my mate Jason from Tuff Mounts. I just went and bought this from him, which is a trim ring kit. So it's actually two. So if you've got a V8, which I don't have, or you just want two massive pipes hanging out the side of your car, it comes with two in there. And yeah, pretty damn cheap for what they are. So there's no point trying to make your own. Might as well just buy one from him. Comes with all the rivets, everything like that. And this is going to go probably there. Whoop, while I trip over. If not, I'll just get a whole nother guard. I know where there is one, but because I may go further back. Not sure yet, but we'll see. So we'll see. Not sure. One or the other, but I'm going to get this out and size it up and have a look. But well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, shout out to you, Jace. Always making killer products. If you need engine mount kits for your car, then he is the man to see. Previously had Tuff Mounts in this, but now I've got engine plates. It makes it a bit hard, but yeah, hit them up for all of your engine mounting requirements. Plus I do headers, all sorts of other stuff like that. So Jason has been a very, very good mate of mine and very helpful over the years with my projects. So I'm always happy to support his awesome products. Now I'm going to unpackage it. It's not an unboxing, it's an unpackaging. And a sticker. Let's have a look-see. Perfect. Size-wise, plenty of room to play with there. Nice, so get that nice and central in there. And this here will probably be someone like that. So the hole's not really that much bigger that it's got to go through, but I'm going to think this out overnight whether or not I do this, or I'll just go get a whole nother guard and mount it kind of there, because I've got to do paint work again anyway, so painting another guard's not going to hurt. But yeah, just like the look of that there. And now that the pipe's aimed kind of that way, then there's no point turning it back around, so we'll see. Probably even go a bit lower, but work it out. Thank you, Tuff Mounts. Alright, so a bit's going on here. I've got the turbo manifold sitting back in the car, but this is actually not the same turbo manifold. This is another one that Six Boost have sent me, because I've been working with them to make some changes. Also, this one has got EGTs on it. It's pretty raw and fresh, so they've only just sort of finished fabricating it, and this will go off to get ceramic coated and all sorts of good fun stuff afterwards. The reason it's raw is because I had to confirm the angle of the turbo. But the best thing is with this one, they've actually dropped the height of the runners here and brought this underneath, which is a bit different to the old design, which means that now there's loads of room here. I've got a piece of 5-inch pipe here, which obviously needs a bend and stuff in it, but there's loads of room now there for like a little tight radius bend off the turbo, and then that can go straight down in through the guard here and then out the side. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Chuck that back up there, and yeah, to give you an example of what I'm talking about with that, so that runner comes down there, whereas the old one, which is still an amazing turbo manifold obviously, was pretty much straight out. So that's why I had to raise that up before, just to give myself a bit more clearance. It's a bit tight in this car, but now they've done that, I can leave it as is, and because I'm changing intercooler plumbing and dump pipe again anyway, it doesn't matter. So that's gonna get chopped off, and then this will go back to 6 Boost anyway. So yeah, so working on that. Gonna have to redo this intercooler pipe again, and just working on some bits and pieces. Got the Clearview filter mounted down here now, so I'm just making sure that that's all going to be in the exact right spot. The reason I've changed that from the firewall where I had it mounted before was because it was a good spot and everything like that, but changing the oil there was going to be a pain, whereas with the Clearview filter there, the filter's under the guard. So basically turn the wheel underneath, drop the filter out, change the oil, and so forth. So just everything's got to be convenient and easy to work on in this car. I don't want anything to be annoying. Back corner here, which another update on that, that's all just in etch primer now, so I've put some cool little dimple dyes in here. When the engine bay gets painted, a bit of high fill and primer or whatever will smooth out the rest of those welds there, but they're linished down, don't want to take away too much metal. But other than that, best thing about having an engine plate is there is no gearbox in there. The engine's just sitting up against the engine plate at the moment, and yeah, basically working on that. And as you would have seen, yeah, these Tuff Mounts rings, so I might duck over and grab myself another front guard today actually, and then get in that. I've got both the doors off the car now, so you can jump through it stuntman style if you wanted to, but just all in the effort of making things easy to work on. And when the car gets the paintwork done again on the interior, I may even go the trouble of pulling the windscreen out, just so it's easier for the painter to get in and blast everything, and that we don't have to really mask up as much. But cross that bridge when we get to it. And yeah, more good stuff happening. But yeah, it's just progress and more progress. And yeah, and one thing I'm going to show you quickly, and I'm going to do a proper video on all this, is I have a big tower of stuff here from Fuelab in America, and move that out of the way. In box number A here we have a fuel filter. In this one here, this is a fuel regulator. Nice bit of gear. And then it's a gauge for the fuel regulator. As you can tell, I've opened these already, I got very excited. And in here, this is another filter. Buried under here somewhere, in boxes I have already opened, are these bad boys. We can do this without dropping it. And so that is a Fuelab brushless spur gear pump. So this is going to be good for methanol, E85, everything, and deliver, basically I'm going to beep this out, but a load of fuel. Very, very nice bit of gear. Yeah, so they're going to be mounted in the back near the tank. I've got all the filters set up here. I am going to get in touch with Tanner from Fuelab very soon, so we're going to get together, do a video and talk about all of these, all the ins and outs and what they do, and the benefits of running brushless pumps. Long and the short of it is, I didn't want to go mechanical pump. I've seen a lot of them in cars before, it's not my thing. Best thing is that it's sounding a bit nerdy here with pulse width modulated setup with Haltech and stuff like that, where you can actually speed control these. So we can actually have this sort of humming away at idle, and then rip into it when you put your foot down. So there's a lot more control, I believe, with using these, and also they have an amazing warranty on these as well. So very, very cool bit of gear, and awesome Fuelab. They've been great to work with so far, and I can't wait to get these in the car. So yeah, it's another fun job that Mitch is going to have, wiring them up, and it looks pretty damn simple actually. So the best bit is that the pumps are going to be very close to the battery too, so all that wiring there. And yeah, other than that, not a lot left to do in here. Other than that, I need to get a nitrous system so I can mount the nitrous bottle in here, and then pretty much we're ready to repaint again. So it's looking pretty good. So there you go, there's another guard I just picked up from You Pull It, and it was quite a fun adventure actually, because the guard, I know how to take them off because I've done it several times already before and now. This one actually fits better down here, so that's a bonus. I do need to mess with it because I need to delete that, which I did in the old one, And also on this one, there's like a little flange here that I cut off on the old ones around there. So I'll just match up with the other ones, because I cut that off because it's got a mounting bolt underneath there, so it's pretty strong and everything like that. But what that means is if I trim that in there and I sort of paint it in a little bit, it means that the front rad support can come out, because that actually goes over the top of the rad support. So it means the rad support can come in and out with the guard still on. So yeah, less hassle there. But well, I'm just looking at this. This is a rough guesstimate, but pretty close to where I think this is going to sit now. And big shout out to Ford. I don't know who the hell came up with that, but we all thought that was hilarious when I was a Ford apprentice, because these were brand new in 1997 when I was a Ford apprentice in my 3rd year. Computer combustion. It's definitely computer combustion with a Haltech on it. So yeah, overhead cam. Need to put a D in there. Yeah, anyway, good job Ford. You like my flames coming out there? Yeah, I should be an artist.